changes are not favorable for us, that's when we struggle. Because when change is presented to us, we consider two things. First, you have a logical response, your rational response. Is this right? Is this good for me? Another is an emotional response. Changes, they always bring emotions. We have a hard time accepting changes when we don't know why we need to go through the change. What is your why? When we don't understand our why, it makes it harder for us to accept the change and to stick to the change. What is the purpose? Why do you need to make this change? So the second is, whenever change is presented to you, sometimes or oftentimes, change can make you feel anxious because in most cases, we don't know what's going to happen. We feel uncertainty. So I suggest that you ask, you get more information, you research, you find out more about, the changes that's presented to you. And the last, make and break connection. People find it hard to make the changes that they need to make because they're connected to the past. A past habit, things, memories. We cling so much to the past that it prevents us from embracing what's new. One suggestion is by creating ceremonies or rituals to signify the end of a chapter. Apart from that, we also have ceremonies for welcoming change. There's a party, there's a new member of the team, then we have a welcoming party. That is part of a ceremony to welcome a particular change. These ceremonies, these rituals, they're a way for us to motivate ourselves to stick to the change. Always remember the 3 A's. The 3 A's are assess, adjust, accelerate. If you're going through changes, you're making changes, and then things are not going right or you're not seeing any progress, go to the first one, which is assess. What's going well, what's not working out. And depending on what you're able to find out, then you go to the second A, which is adjust. Adjust your actions, adjust your behavior, adjust your belief. And when you're able to do that, then things would start to accelerate, which is the third A. So always remember that. Assess, adjust, accelerate.
The analogy that there's a monkey on someone's back and they're trying to, and it may well jump onto yours, just means that you need to be considering what your role is, how you can best support the situation. And it's not always taking on the task or the piece of work or saying, yes, I will do it. But often it's about guiding someone to say, well, actually, I know how you can solve that problem. I know where that monkey actually belongs. I know what its home is. Or have you considered doing this? So instead of taking on all of these monkeys, perhaps try and guide just a simple and maybe a funny way to think about how you go about your day, the interactions you have, and where your priorities end up sitting. Sometimes you'll need to trust. I like to lead with trust and trust first. At times, particularly in the leadership role, you will need to trust. We've got a series of emotions, and again, your style might be to outwardly express your emotions. It might be to contain them. There's no right or wrong, but it's understanding that sometimes by expressing your emotion, you can actually make yourself more real to your team, and longer term, that connection can be really important. Trying to set out a vision, trying to look past the challenge of this week and next week to the opportunity into the future. That's really important, and I think it makes sure that people have a sense of the future and the hope that might be needed, particularly when you're in the trenches. Again, you have to balance that up. Being able to articulate a vision in a way forward is important. It's just about supporting and listening, understanding that everyone has complexity in their lives, regardless of where they're coming from. And so sometimes it's nothing more than saying, hey, I understand, and you can go about your day in a different way, or you might need to provide some type of special support. Take time to learn from the leaders that you're seeing, either your direct managers or, like I say, other people within the business who are leading in some capacity. Learn what you like, learn what you think is working well. Doing versus guiding, balancing up what your role is in actually getting down and doing the work versus guiding someone to get the result that's best for the team. Knowing and adapting your style, so that's again leveraging your strengths, making sure that you understand what the team needs and having to adapt when it makes sense. Just finally, setting the example. So I think ultimately in any leadership role, it's difficult to have your team come along the journey and really get behind you and connect if you're not setting the example. And if I'm saying that but not doing or acting in that way, then obviously that's not going to set a good tone. Setting the example, doing what you say you're going to do, always important, and that's just not in a leadership role, that's just in general.
This is Enabling Media, enabling content through new media.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Thought Leaders, where we feature great ideas, interesting insights, and inspiring stories. My name is Pancho and I'll be the host for today. On our previous episode of Thought Leaders, we sat down with Ian Llanares, where he shared the benefits of gratitude in our lives and the ways we can practice it daily. You can catch the session on our YouTube channel. For more learning sessions, job opportunities, news about the company, please follow us on our social media platforms, Guild Solutions Inc. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. This month, we are celebrating Women's Month, and adopting this year's International Women's Day theme is the hashtag Break the Bias. As we aspire to recognize all the biases against all genders and do what we can to break them. Today, in this special edition of Thought Leaders, we will listen to Lyn Estidola as she discusses the role of women in breaking the bias. This episode of Thought Leaders is made possible by Guild Solutions Inc. and Enabling Media. For our viewers in the Philippines, we will be flashing information on your screens on how to request for a certificate of attendance throughout this event. To avoid the distractions, ensure maximum participation. The form will only be made active at certain times of this event, so please watch out for the announcements. And now we're seeing some activities on social media. So let me call in Jem Manalansang, who is with me today to greet our audience. Jem, hello.
Hi, Pancho. Thank you so much for calling me. And I'm wearing pink today because we're celebrating women today. So let me just take a look at what we have on the chat box. I see that our chat box have a lot of audiences. I'm seeing hearts. I'm seeing all emoticons. So feel free to type in the chat box so that we can say hi to you. So if you're joining us live from our social media sites, so do let us know. We are here to listen to your questions later on when you have any that's connected to our topic for today, where what Lynn will be discussing. So do let us know. We would like to say hi and good morning to everyone who is joining us in our Facebook and our YouTube channel. So go ahead and type your names. Later on, we hope that we'll be able to chat with you. So for now, Pancho, since most of our participants today are rather quiet, but they really do interact with their hearts and their thumbs up. So if you have any questions regarding the show, or if you have questions directly for our guests later on, don't forget to type them in.
All right, thank you so much, Jem. To our audience, as Jem mentioned, get your notes and questions ready for our speaker because we will have a Q&A later. I'm sure you would want to ask our speaker questions so you can learn more. All right, let us not delay this further. We are now transitioning to the main show. You're watching Thought Leaders with Lyn Estidola.
Together, we'll win. Face challenges. Overcome obstacles. Celebrate triumphs. A fusion of more than 50 years of exemplary business management and a passion for innovation. With trust at the centre of it all. Life's definitely at ease. This is life. This is life at GSI.
Hello again to those who just came in, and welcome to Thought Leaders, where we feature great ideas, interesting insights, and inspiring stories. I am Pancho, your host for today. Let us now jump into the main part of the show and introduce our speaker for today. Lyn Estidola is currently the head of People and Culture for Guild Solutions Inc. She has more than 15 years of experience in HR, ranging from small organizations to large institutions. Her experience include managing HR processes in Epson and Caranet, Philippines. Friends, without further ado, please welcome Lyn Estidola.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hi, Pancho. How are you?
Hi, Lyn. I'm doing good. You look good.
Thank you. You too, the island
Thank you.
boy. Okay, good morning, everybody. Well, Pancho, thank you for the wonderful introduction. So, yep, I am Lynn, and I am currently the head of People and Culture for Guild Solutions, and well, that is equal to Human Resources Department. Internally, we call it People and Culture. So, So thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you guys about women. So as everybody knows, March has been proclaimed as International Women's Month with a tagline for this year, hashtag break the bias. So so in the Philippines, we are celebrating this Women's Month with the theme Agenda ng Kababaihan tungo sa Kaunlaran. So we also have our own theme here in the Philippines. And I think this shows that for the Philippines, women are important role in progress. So it will be a celebration of women's exercising their choices, taking chances to make their voice heard, and benefiting from and trailblazing changes. So it is a celebration of Filipino women's power to take the narrative, raise priority issues that matters to them, and call for concrete actions. Okay, so Importante rin sa Pilipino yung role ng kababaihan. Like, if we talk of traditions and social norms, marami ang Pilipino niyan, and we have a very conservative mindset in terms of women's role in the society. Okay, so why do we have to celebrate International Women's Day? Well, this is to celebrate, well, technically it is every 8th of March. So with this celebration, we commemorate the political, social, and economic achievements of women in history and in this generation. So today, Women's Day is also celebrated in schools to spread awareness of women empowerment, roles, and their achievements. So hindi lang po ito sa mga industries, not just in government institutions or in private institution, but all across industries na merong kababaihan, na may mga kababaihan who plays a vital and major role in their respective organizations. Okay, so I would like to mention few remarkable women of this generation. The races the flag of women in all parts of the world. Okay, so let me start with um, Sam. I'm sorry. Yep. Thank you. Let me start with Margaret Thatcher. So she is a former prime minister of United Kingdom from 1970 to 1990. Well, Margaret Thatcher changed the face of modern British politics. If you can recall those times, hindi masyadong madami ang babae sa politika. So Margaret Thatcher really had a breakthrough in the British politics. Another one is Kamala Harris. So if you can recall the November 2022 election in America, so she made history in that year when she became the first woman vice president of America and the first Black and South Asian American to take on that job. It's really a breakthrough, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so that's in in politics. So punta naman tayo dito sa entertainment. So we have Oprah Winfrey. So she as at the age of 19, she read the main news on channel in the city of Nashville in America. So she was very young there back then, and now she is the most famous and most loved interviewers in America. Not to mention one of the richest. Okay, so um hindi siyempre papatalo ang Pilipino. So we also have Miriam Defensor Santiago, the late Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, wherein she was the first Filipino and Asian judge of the International Criminal Court. It's an institution wherein it's very difficult to penetrate. So Senator Miriam was able to do that and raise the flag of the Philippines for everybody, for every Filipino. Okay. So, iyan po yung ilang mga kababaihan that really made a breakthrough and plays a big mark in the history in the history of Filipino of I mean women breakthroughs. Okay, so globally women are we can say underrepresented, and the share of women decreases with each step on the corporate hierarchy. Okay, so dito tayo sa workplace, since I'm an HR, kunin natin yung isang maliit na bahagi. So let's take the corporate world and the role of women in this institution. So paano ba natatrato ang mga kababaihan sa corporate world? Okay, so women encounter many barriers to advance into corporate leadership position. And these barriers include gender-based discrimination as well as unconscious gender bias. This unconscious gender bias, we're going to tackle this very briefly as we move on. So many companies have shown their commitment to gender equality by establishing family friendly policies and facilitating women careers and professional networks. Okay, I may say that our generation is very fortunate since women are now given a lot of chances. And nanonotice na talaga ang mga babae sa bagong generation. So unlike before, siguro if we're going to look back 20 years backwards, hindi pa gano'n ka-aware or hindi pa gano'n ka-open ng mga ang iba't ibang institusyon at saka at ang iba't ibang kumpanya pagdating sa opportunities na binibigay sa mga kababaihan. But now, we are fortunate that women are really given their rightful places. Okay. So saan ba sila nabibigyan ng opportunity or saan din ba sila nakakaranas ng mga biases? Okay. So one of that is in the recruitment. So there are positions that let's say leaders or company owners prefer men because of because of their different sets of reasons and biases. But now in recruitment, all opportunities are given to all genders. Job post does not contain restrictions that may be deemed discriminatory of age, religion, and gender. Okay, so recruitment policies nowadays are created. Um, we may say that is genderless. Uh, so the recruitment is now based on skill sets, and the candidate should highlight their capabilities to do or perform in this particular requirement. Okay, so hindi na siya yung laging kailangan babae, kailangan lalaki. Okay, even in engineering and construction industry, ang dami na nating mga kababaihang engineers, kababaihang architects. Okay, so this is one of the industries before that wherein women are given less regards. So laging lalaki ang gusto nila. Pag sinabi mong engineer, lalaki. Pag sinabi mong arkitekto, lalaki ang kailangan. But now, women are playing important roles in these industries. Okay, next is promotion. So, um, minsan kasi meron connotation na if a leader is men is a man or lalaki, madalas ang nire-recruit niya or kino-consider din niya or the apple of the eye that we may say, lalaki din. But now, promotion policies, same as the recruitment, has their own criteria that is genderless. Okay. So paano ba ngayon sa mga companies we created policies in promotion um wherein the criteria are for the potential candidates are based on records of performances, behaviors or attitudes and their values. So wala ding hindi na siya kailangan maging babae o lalaki. Ang kailangan is the historical data of their performances. So we can measure if they are fitted to be promoted. Okay. And another one is salary. So hindi porket lalaki, mataas ang sweldo, babae, maliit ang sweldo. Salaries nowadays are based on functions, ranks, industry practices, and benchmarks. So, hindi na wala na tayong dahil hindi na tayo namimili ng trabahong ibibigay sa kababaihan, dapat hindi na rin natin pipiliin kung ano yung salary na ibibigay natin sa kababaihan. Okay, so I hope this makes sense to everybody. And so, and I am proud to say that in Guild Solutions, those aspects are are all genderless. They are all open for whether male or female. So everything is based on capabilities and skill sets. Nevertheless, unconscious gender bias continues to impact women in the workplace, and more must be done to enable highly skilled women to advance into leadership position. So highly skilled women. So the key word is skills. So as women, w- we also have to equip ourselves to be able to qualify for those positions that we are aspiring. Lalo na kung yung posisyon na to is, let's say, uh, mas marami ang lalaki or mas sinasabing mas malakas ang mga lalaki. Like, as I mentioned, engineering and architecture. So let's equip ourselves with um, with the things needed or with the skills needed to be qualified for those. Okay. So kung nababanggit ko na kanina yung bias or unconscious biases. So yung unconscious gender bias is defined as an intentional and automatic mental association based on gender stemming from traditions, norms, values, culture, and experience. So it is something, ladies and gentlemen, that is out of control, and everybody has this. So, yes, unfortunately, everyone has this unconscious biases. So, in the workplace, it is up to the managers and leaders to break the barriers or to at least minimize these unconscious biases. Automatic associations feed into decision making, enabling a quick assessment of an individual according to gender and gender stereotypes. Okay, so stereotyping, gender stereotyping, ano-ano ba tong mga to? Okay, so meron kasi talagang biases tayo in terms of social roles of women against men. Okay, let's talk about those few things. First, women are homebodies that should only take care of the children, her husband, and the entire household. This is one of the stereotypes given to women. Another one is women are often expected to be accommodating and emotional, while men are usually expected to be self-confident and aggressive. So emotional daw ang mga babae. Kaya pagdating sa workplace, challenge yung yung management and the leaders to give them um a higher position because of this stereotyping that we are emotional, so we might decide based on emotion, and hindi magiging objective yung um magiging decision. Okay, so another one is some people expect the women will take care of the children, cook and clean the home, while men take care of finances, work on the car, and do home repairs. So, yung babae are doing mas magagaan na trabaho, hindi physical. Ang lalaki more on physical and provider. So those are three or just few of the stereotyping that was imposed to women. Okay, these stereotypes against women and inherent gender bias in recruitment and promotion. um this gender bias in the mindset of managers prevent women from advancing to leadership positions. Okay, so one of those stereotypes is women are natural nurturers and men are natural leaders. Kaya mas maraming managers na mga lalaki. Kasi yung babae, dapat parang um, nasa kumbaga behind the camera, supporting the front runners. Taga-bigay ng taga-type ng presentations, taga taga-set ng meetings, taga-order ng pagkain. Yep, that was before. Okay? So women don't need equal pay because they are supported by their husbands. Paano naman yung single? 'Di ba? Na walang husband na magpo-provide. So they will be discriminated in terms of salary because of this type of stereotyping that babae is always depending on someone else for their livelihood. Okay? So hindi ito tama, hindi ito acceptable. Okay? Women with children are less devoted to their jobs. Okay, so in reality, ladies and gentlemen, meron talagang if you are part of the management, um you will think of one of the basis of recruiting of your recruitment would be how reliable this person will be. So, before, pag sinabing babae, tapos may asawa, makita dun sa profile mo, you are married with two kids or a single parent, nako, hindi to. Pag may sakit ang anak nito, sino mag-aalaga? Kaya nagiging part ng interview, who's taking care of your kids if you are at work? Okay, so kasi, it is also a reality that women are really the first sila yung unang nag-aalaga sa pamilya. Okay, but it is not, but it doesn't follows na wala nang mag-aalaga kapag wala ng ano, wala siya. So definitely if a married if a ang babaeng may pamilya, pag nagdesisyon niya na mag-asawa at magkaroon ng pamilya at gusto niyang magtrabaho, definitely may plan A, plan B yan. Okay? So flexible ang mga kababaihan. And in the workplace, we can see a different variety of women's flexibility in terms of taking care of their families. Okay. Oh, women, another one is women are too emotional to undertake certain kinds of work, especially while pregnant. Being pregnant doesn't should not limit women's capability in performing their jobs. Um, Kaya nga merong 9 na buwan na magbubuntis ang babaeng empleyado. So it is the company's responsibility to think of ways kung paano mafi-fill in yung gap or paano mafi-fill in yung trabahong maiiwanan nitong itong empleyadong buntis kapag ka nanganak siya. So hindi ito kasalanan ng babae. It is the responsibility of the company to be creative and to be strategic on how to fill the gaps whenever a pregnant woman will be taking her maternity leave. Okay, so ngayon pa naman ang haba na ng maternity leave. So kailangan talagang paghandaan. Kailangan siyang mapaghandaan ng company, ng mga leaders, ng managers. There is something wrong with a woman who doesn't want children. Mm, Ayaw niya eh. Anong magagawa natin? Tulad lang din ng lalaki, I believe, hindi lang naman babae ang minsan merong ganitong um, choices. Maybe because hindi pa siya handa financially. Ang lalaki din naman gano'n, 'di ba? You have to prepare yourself in having children because it is a responsibility. Okay. So, Pancho and I mean Sam is there who's going to attend on your questions if you have one. So just type in your in the chat boxes. Okay. So there are other gender biases that's happening in the company. So let's take another one example, performance evaluation. Okay. So if one of the criteria in your performance evaluation is reliability. Okay. So meron in this aspect na discriminate ang babae. Nagkakaroon ng bias sa babae. Bakit? If ang babaeng married, may anak, they have this stereotyping din na hindi mo siya pwedeng ipadala kung saan-saan. Hindi siya may limitation yung mobility kasi may anak na kailangang alagaan. Pag weekend, hindi mo basta-basta mahugot because she has to do the laundry, she has to take care of the kids and other stuff. She has to general clean the house kasi isang linggong hindi na linisan. So for married women, um weekends are very important. But does it have to be a bias for them? Should we be biased to them because of this? As a company, why don't we design activities that is not going to spill over weekend, right? So bakit natin isisisi sa babae na hindi siya reliable dahil weekend may kailangan siyang gawing mga bagay-bagay para sa pamilya. Okay, so let us not forget, being a company, isa yun sa mga responsibilidad natin to respect the hours beyond the working hours of each employee and also their weekends. Okay, so hindi daw reliable. So mababa yung rating sa performance evaluation kasi let's say nag-ocular inspection during weekend, hindi nakasama kasi mag-aalaga ng anak. So may effect sa evaluation. Again. Okay? And project assignment. So si project assignment kasi Um, Mag-ocular tayo dun sa ano, sa, let's say, yung para sa team building medyo ano, medyo mabundok. Maglalakad ng malayo, medyo magha-hike. Babae kasi hindi 'to makakaakyat ng bundok. Hindi makaka hindi hin mahirap 'to, ida-drag pa natin 'to, alagain pa natin 'to. That kind of stereotyping. Ang dami na ng babaeng mountain climbers and hikers, right? So, bakit kailangan 'tong maging restriction para sa babae? I mean, have you checked their physical have you checked their physical conditions, their health conditions? For all you know, baka mas mabilis pang tumakbo sa'yo 'yan, kahit lalaki ka, okay? So, again, may impact na naman siya kasi hindi ka mabigyan ng trabaho dahil babae ka, kasi hindi mo kaya yung ginagawa ng mga lalaki, right? So, somehow, how can we mitigate unconscious biases against women? Okay, so again, it will boil ang bottom line natin dito is yung policy. Okay? So for example, for the yung sa na-mention ko kanina na performance evaluation, try blind evaluation. Um Leaders out there, managers out there, try blind evaluation. Um hindi mo alam kung sino yung taong of course kailangan ting ano kailangan ting i-classify ano yung pwede mong i-blind evaluation. Kung monthly scorecard diyan or syempre hindi pwede yung monthly evaluation. Yep. So, train employees on gender bias. So everybody should be aware of company's objective and that the company aims for gender bias, no gender bias campaign or the direction of the company. Para everybody will be careful, everybody will be mindful of how they speak, how they decide, how they judge every colleagues. Check the ratio of men and women in the organization. So it's very important that to somehow pag-aralan kung ano ilan ba yung babae sa ano, ilang babae ba yung isa-isang ilang babae na ba kami sa kumpanya, and then ilan bawat department, and ilan ba yung leaders, ilan ba yung nasa rank and file. So this factor will affect the leaders and the managers way of giving decisions and their judgments. And review your human resources practices. Yeah. So ito yung trabaho namin sa HR. Review the policies that is not biased in gender. Actually, hindi lang naman dapat sa babae, kundi sa babae man o lalaki. Hindi tayo dapat maging hindi ta yung policy should be indiscriminate or non-discriminatory. Siguro 'wag naman natin masyadong isipin yung mga biases, yung discriminations, kasi the society right now is having a lot of efforts in in appreciating and being and its awareness about women and its needs. So I just want to highlight yung mga statutory policies in the workplace that protects women's right. Okay? So, again, itong Republic Act 11210 or the Maternity Leave Act. So, ito yung enhance maternity leave that is covered by SSS, of course. So originally, ang tagal nito na ito yung na-enjoy lang ng mga kababaihan na nanganganak. Before, it was just 60 days for normal delivery and 75 days for cesarean delivery. But now it's maximum of it's 105 days for female workers, regardless of status. Whether you are single or married, you can avail of the 105 days of maternity leave with SSS. So, yun nga lang, syempre you have to follow certain guidelines. Just make sure lang na you are in touch with your human resource staff para ma-validate mo kung ayos ba yung records mo or para makapag-avail ka nitong benepisyo na 'to. And hindi lang naman yan natapos dun sa 105 days. You can extend for additional 30 days but without pay. Let's say you can afford not to work after the 105 days. You still have your security of tenure for 30 days, hindi maaapektuhan ng employment mo or kung ano mang employment status mo, meron ka pang 30 days. At meron pa, you have 7 days na pwede mong ibigay sa partner mo or sa asawa mo para siya naman yung katulong mong mag-alaga ng bata or maalagaan ka while you were trying to recover from the delivery. Okay. So another law is this Republic Act 9710. So this one is called Magna Carta for Women. So this Magna Carta for Women is a special law that gives benefits to women who undergone uh, OB related operation or sickness. So for sa mga lalaki na hindi sa o sino man diyan na medyo hindi aware kung ano yung mga sakit na pinagdadaanan ng babae. So if it is reproductive if it is related to the reproductive system, medyo matagal yung recovery. Okay, so we have in this Republic Act 9710, binibigyan tayo ng pagkakataon na maging continuous. Na tuloy-tuloy yung kita natin kahit na may sakit tayo at nagpapagaling from this OB-related sickness. Okay? So, mahalaga tayo sa lipunan. Binigyan tayo ng ganitong special entitlement in this Republic Act. Okay, so ito yung RA 7877, yung Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995. So we are protected. We are protected in um from men. Hindi naman men eh. Meron na rin pwedeng umabuso sa atin eh na hindi lalaki lang. Okay, so this particular law is enacted to protect us from violence and sexual violence na actually pati sa workplace. Um, the company has big responsibility in complying the Sexual Harassment Act of 1995. The company has to have its concrete policy that follows this particular law. And the other one is Republic Act 6725, or an act strengthening the prohibition on discrimination against women with respect to terms and conditions of employment. For women who are victims of domestic violence, um, can what they call it is allowed to have 7 days, 7 days of paid leave to that is covered by this law. So minsan hindi natin naiiwasan na meron tayong mga um, kasama sa trabaho na hindi ganoon kaganda yung mga sitwasyon nila sa kanilang bahay, sa kanilang pamilya. So mga nabibiktima sila ng pang-aabuso, physical abuse ng kanilang mga partners. So this act is for them. So it's 7 days. Right. Okay. So being an individual, how can we fight gender stereotypes? Well, you can probably see gender stereotypes all around you. Hindi lang dito sa workplace, when you go outside, 'di ba? Marami tayong nawu-witness niyan personally. So you might also have been experienced sexism or discrimination based on your gender. There are ways to challenge these stereotypes to help everyone. So no matter their gender or gender identity, feel equal and valued as people. So first, maybe you can try to point it out. Point it out, ladies and gentlemen. So TV, magazines, and even in the films, the internet are full of negative gender stereotypes. Kung iba-browse nga lang natin isa-isa yan marami rin talaga. Especially ngayon nauso yung mga yung mga videos na that was taken secretly pag nandoon ka sa train or any public transportation. So sometimes these stereotypes are hard for people to see unless they're pointed out. So be that person. I'm challenging you to be that person. Wag po kayong manood lang. If you see that you have to call the attention of that person, try to do that. Kasi baka iniisip nila tama yung ginagawa nila. So they need somebody who will tell them that you are not right in doing that. You are you are that is discrimination, that is intimidation. So point it out. Try to call the attention of that person. Okay, next one is be a living example. Be a model for your colleagues, friends, family. So if you want to be respected, if you want your right to be respected, you also have to be respectful, regardless of the other person's gender identity and choices. Okay, somehow help the if you are part of a company, help to create a space na safe space, I mean, para makapag-express ng mga sarili nila ma-express nila yung totoong saloobin nila, opinion nila, ah, na hindi para unti-unti tayo makawala dun sa stereotype. Okay. So, another thing is speak up. If someone is throwing sexist jokes and comments, whether online or in person and in the workplace, especially in the workplace, challenge them. Okay, so I think this is related to the first point. um, of course, when you speak up, you are pointing out that what you're doing is not right. Okay, so you have to stop because you are making other people uncomfortable with your joke or with your comments. Okay, so last is give it a try. If you want to do something that's not normally associated with your gender, think about whether you'll be safe doing it. And if you think you will, give it a try. People will learn from your example. Okay, so um, let's begin in ourselves yung mga bagay para unti-unti tayong makawala doon sa stereotyping and biases. But we have to I think we have to be prepared. Of course, we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared on facing those things. Definitely, we will be challenged. Okay, but we have to prepare for it. Okay, so that's it. And let me conclude this day with this few things. Okay, so friends, it is easy to claim and fight for opportunities that we believe to be rightful ours. But as we go out on our way to claim it, let's step back a little bit, look inwardly, and evaluate ourselves. Are we equipped and capable to do this thing I'm inspiring off? If your answer is yes, then move forward. If no, move away for now. Make yourself able and capable. Read articles, go on to trainings, get mentors, or have yourself surrounded with people whom you can share your aspirations and can help you grow and learn on your chosen path. Women are now enjoying privileges because there were women back then who proved themselves to be capable and set the records of breakthroughs. The women can also do things that men can do. Let us celebrate our lives as women by being the best that we can be. And thank you for your time today and have a great day ahead. Quite unrelated, but hindi pa tapos ang COVID, so let us all take care of ourselves and be safe. Good afternoon, everyone.
That was a very informative talk, Lynn. I'm sure the audience are now curious and ready to ask you their questions. But before we get into that, we'll first take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll entertain some questions from the audience. Friends, don't go away. This is Thought Leaders with Lyn Estidola.
We all know what community is, but what does community feel like? It's the feeling you get watching the magpie family in your front yard patiently wait for you to bring them a snack. It's the feeling you get watching the kangaroos huddle together in the afternoon haze under the tree in your backyard. And it's the feeling you get seeing the flock of galahs swinging and playing on the telephone wire. But community is much more than a feeling. It's the way us Australians work together, through thick and thin. Being a community means being Australian. At Guild, we're here for some of your toughest days. We're here through the fires and then through the floods. We're here through the break-ins, the accidents and the mishaps. We're more than just an insurance company. We're the people you call when it's all gone wrong. You're part of our community, our family, and we look forward to protecting you not only now, but into the future. Guild Insurance, where community is what matters most. How do we protect our community?
Hands up if you want to retire richer. You go shopping, don't you? You like to save money? Super! That's exactly what Super Super is. Shopping plus savings equals Super Super. At Super Super, you get rewarded straight into your superannuation account. So instead of getting all these random points that you're probably never going to use, at Super Super, when you shop, you get money rewards that go straight into your superannuation account. For example, if you spend $100 at the grocery store, an additional $5 will be added to your superannuation account without you having to spend anything extra than that original $100. It sounds too good to be true, but it's not. Over time, your super balance grows every time you shop. Here's how it works. 1, sign up at our website. 2, select the vouchers that you want to purchase or the retailers that you want to shop with online. 3, pay using money that you've transferred into your My Cash account in Super Super, by credit or by debit card. 4, go shopping. 5, watch your Super Super rewards grow in your Super Super account. Shop and save more to your super every day with Super Super.
Shop it up and top it up. Shop, save, super, 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 super. Shop it up and top it up. Shop, save, super, 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 super.
Question now is, how can I practice gratitude in the workplace? I, as an individual, hold yourself accountable for looking for things that you appreciate. So you can commit yourself by writing what are you grateful for in a day, in a week. Mas nakakatulong yun para matrain natin yung sarili natin to look at the good side kapag ikaw ay gumagawa ng writing or ng journal. So because in every day, if you're writing it in a journal or you write your own thoughts there, if you train yourself, it become a habit. So later on, mas magiging natural sa'yo yung pagiging grateful. Say thank you. Show appreciation to people. Do little things to help you. And then the third one is the conscious effort to look for things to appreciate. Decide to tell someone you appreciate to your colleagues or your co-workers, yung mga qualities that you like about them, you appreciate them. Not only in the workplace, but lalo na sa loob ng tahanan, na yung asawa natin, anak natin. And then appreciate what you have and focus on what you have. So that is on the individual level. So ano naman yung way on how the organization can practice gratitude in the workplace? Of course, it starts with the leaders. Importante that the leaders are the role model for the expression of gratitude. So employees need to hear thank you publicly and privately for their contributions, whether little or big. So it matters to them. Goodbye activity to employee exit. This is a time to express your appreciation to their contributions and to their quality. Hopefully, we can create a culture in which pag-aalis na yung isang empleyado, we provide, siyempre, sa management level, expensive yan kung party. Why not a coffee time, a chat time with them, goodbye activity naman yan, in which you show your appreciation, in a simple way, dun sa tao na aalis. Yung mga goodbye activity na yan, kahit simple coffee, and then there are people showing they appreciate you, either on the management level down to the ranking or the rank and file. It's a good way, to cultivate gratitude in a workplace. And when we are cultivating gratitude in the workplace, we promote safe work environment.
This is Enabling Media, enabling content through new media.
And we're back. We surely learned a lot from Lynn as she discussed the role of women in the workplace and the society. And having it's actually good to hear that to hear the perspective of an HR professional on how they address the biases and the stereotypes usually occurs in the workplace. Isn't that right, Jem?
I agree, Pancho. It's also good to know what companies or what are the ways that companies have done to help break the bias in the workplace, especially for women. So we've really
Mhm.
come a long way in breaking these biases.
Uh, Well, awesome stuff. And now our request portal is now open for our viewers in the Philippines who would like to request a certificate of attendance. Just go to bit.ly/GSI-cert and enter the information requested by the form. Again, go to bit.ly/GSI-cert to request for a certificate of attendance. Jem, I guess we're ready for the questions.
Yes, and before we go to the questions, Pancho, no, so I would just like to read a comment in our chat box. So this is
Uh-huh.
from Engelbert Nolasco. So he said that from before, it was difficult for me to relate to topics about gender bias. In our household, I'm surrounded by strong-willed women, starting from my mom when I was younger, who never wavered amid challenges, and now with my wife, who manages to run our household whilst performing her full time job. So women are very underrated. And if more incentives are
Mhm.
given to women to participate economically, the Philippines will be a much better place. So I definitely agree with this comment. So there are really a
Mhm.
lot of things that women do apart from the things that they're doing
Mhm.
at home. And related to that. So like what I shared a while ago, Pancho, this our participants for today are active but a little bit quiet. So we received a private message in a question that we would like to ask our speaker for today, Lynn. So this is the question. So this is for Lynn. Let's do it. Ayan. So, Lynn, the question is, my husband and I are both working, pero lagi akong pagod dahil ako pa rin ang nag-aalaga sa mga anak namin, nagtuturo sa kanila, at ako pa rin ang nagluluto. I'm having a hard time doing my job because of the things that he expects me to do at home while working. So, what do you suggest I do? This is from an anonymous viewer today.
Yep. Actually, Jem, that is a typical scenario in the workplace. If you have married women, and their husband are also working, and then there are times na walang house help. So pag uwi mo ng bahay, shift ka into being a mother and a wife. So this is a common scenario. So I suggest yung na-mention ko kanina na how are we going to break the bias. First is speak up. You have to let your husband know that you are that you are now challenged with your responsibilities in your
Mhm.
household. Kasi baka hindi naiintindihan ng husband mo, baka hindi niya alam na nahihirapan ka na pala. So you have to let him know. Speak to him of the challenges that you are experiencing, and that should be ASAP. Wag mo nang antayin na maapektuhan yung performance mo sa trabaho because pagod ka lagi, so hindi ka productive. So this one is an urgent matter for you to deal with. Communication is the key for me. Communication is the key. You should let your husband know of the ordeals that you are experiencing, and it's a partnership. So baka kailangan yung pag-usapan ng hatian ng trabaho sa bahay, sino maglalaba, sino magluluto, sinong mamamalengke, anong oras, anong araw. So mga ganun ka detalye. Hopefully that works.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lynn. We also have another question here, and in a way, I guess this could be related to the first one, somehow related. So the question is, I am a mother. My boss tells me that kailangan pag tinawagan kita kahit gabi na, sasagot ka agad. Walang anak-anak sa akin. Walang may anak-anak sa akin. Is this an
Wow.
example of gender bias against women? What can I do if my boss thinks this way? Mahirap po kasing kausapin siya sa bagay na ito dahil siya ay boss ko.
Hmm. Ang hirap. Ang hirap ng pinagdadaanan mo if you have a boss like that. Lumipat ka na sa guild. Anyway, on a serious note, if your boss is acting that way, um, and hindi nagmi-meet yung expectation ng trabaho mo against your personal things or personal na responsibilities mo, kailangan mo sigurong pag-isipan if you need to stay in that company or not. You have to if you think hindi mo kayang yung if yung demand niya sa work is something that you cannot meet, then you have to think things over if you're going to shift from one company to another. Kasi definitely there will be company na magfi-fit doon sa pangangailangan mo as a person, bilang babae, bilang nanay, bilang kahit dalaga ka nga 'di ba? You still need your personal space. Pag tapos na yung trabaho, umuwi ka na, I mean, if yung boss mo is walang personal judgment kung pwede ka ba niyang tawagan in holy hours or not, so it's a personal decision that you need to do. Pag-isipan mo if you wanted to belong in that company and to serve a boss like that.
Thank you, Lynn. So we hope that that was, it's a very good, actually, it's a very good
Mhm.
recommendation coming from Lynn. Also, there's another question from Facebook from Sam. How can we point out or speak out against gender biases in the workplace?
I think, Sam, you have to point it out. You have to voice it out kasi hindi nga nila nalalaman kung walang nagko-call ng attention. Meron if yung iba, I mean yung mga breakthroughs ng mga women before, kaya nasa history yun ngayon kasi they step up. Lumabas sila, they went out of their own ways para ma-notice, yung change na gusto nila, and they let everybody know that it is not acceptable, and it is not and should not be done to anybody, or I mean to every woman. Hindi lang siguro sa kababaihan kundi yung biases kasi minsan related sa ano, 'di ba? Medyo related sa bullying, 'di ba? So it is unacceptable behavior. Biases are most of the time unacceptable behaviors. So if for you, your personal judgment, it is unacceptable, then point it out, okay, and speak up. Be the voice of those na hindi kayang i-assert yung sarili nila. So you can be a model to those who cannot speak up and fight for their right place.
All right. Thank you so much, Lynn. I guess those are the questions that we have for today. So thank you, everyone, especially those who are with us in our live session on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for all of your questions. Bringing it back to you, Pancho.
All right. Thank you, Jem, for moderating and co-hosting with me. We'll see you soon. All
Thanks,
right.
everyone.
And Lynn, thank you for being here today. That was a really great session. I've learned a lot from you, and I'm sure that our viewers did too. So once again, thank you, and hope this is. I hope that this is not the last time we see you here on Thought Leaders.
Thanks, Pancho. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your afternoon.
Hi, Lynn. Thank you. And thanks to all of you for joining us today. We hope that you learned a lot from these sessions. From this session, on behalf of our team, our technical director Sam Sotare, our creative director Jel Nalasco, today's social media host Gemma Nalansang, my name is Pancho and this is Enabling Media, enabling content through the new media. Maraming salamat po and we'll see you on the next episode.
This edition of Thought Leaders is brought to you by Enabling Media, enabling content through new media. Catch the latest episodes of Thought Leaders on our YouTube channel. Follow us on our social media and visit our website guildsolutionsinc.com.au.